Good afternoon, everyone. It's Nomsa here at Nkosi Talk Shows, Find Your Own Voice, Lead from Within. With me today, I have Dr. Biget Tan. How are you, Dr. Biget?
I'm doing well, Nomsa. Thank you. And you?
Yes, I'm very well, thank you. So our topic today is healing from past relationship. And this video today, we're going to be talking about a healing from past relationship. It can also be hard to open up and move on from that relationship if things didn't work out. And also it can be really, really hard for somebody to actually seek help so that they can break away from the pain that they are going through. So today we're going to cover all that. How do you move on from the disappointment, from the pain, the relationship that you thought it was going to work, and the memories? How do you move away from the memories that have been created, places that have been visited, and the families that have been connected together? How do you break away when the pain is there? So, Dr. Biget, what do you think about the topic?
Thank you, Nomsa, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you wherever you are. Nowadays, determine the time that you're watching this, right? And thank you for joining us. And I would say, relationship. There is a saying: relationship live forever. Don't know if you ever heard this, Nomsa, that relationship live forever. And so in other words, I'm just going to give a quick example here. Let's say somebody has a relationship and the person has passed away. The person you have a relationship has passed away or moved away. That relationship actually is still there. If you ever have a time where, say you have a childhood friend, when you're growing up really, really young, you have a childhood friend, and then you have not seen each other for some 30 years or something longer. And then somebody mentioned the person's name, or perhaps there is an event or something. And then you like suddenly say, oh my goodness, yes, that's remind me to let's say Amy. That's remind me to Amy from back in the day. Occasionally, you might not even remember the person's name, but you remember the person, and you remember something about the person, whether it's something beautiful or something hurtful. And so relationship lasts forever, as long as, in other words, as long as you live, and you can allow it to be beautiful and benefiting you, or you can allow it to be now perhaps it was beautiful, now painful. And so that's why it's, even if it is something that the person is no longer here, if you're still here, that relationship still alive in you. And so that would be my first thing, is why it is important for us to recover from relationship that hurt us. And if we don't want to continue to be in pain forever, then we want to be able to transform whatever that relationship, even if it was something that was hurtful. Say you grew up with somebody and you were abused. That is something, actually an even more important opportunity to transform whatever that you have. If it was beautiful, make it even more beautiful. If it was hurtful, make it beneficial. You're muted, Nomsa.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Biget. Is so sometimes it can be so painful, like what you're saying, that when somebody has created these memories and they really want to, they have plans that they're gonna buy a house, or even sometimes it could be a 3 days relationship that lasted for 3 days. It does not matter how long the relationship lasted, the pain is still the same. So you're still gonna go the same details. Now, when that relationship ends, how we respond is very, very important. because how we respond is how we are going to be able to actually move forward and create another future for ourselves. I'm not saying we move on from another relationship and then we get into our relationship. We have to go through self-healing, and we have to go through the acceptance where you accept and letting go. And Dr. Biggett, have you ever had any clients that are, because grieving also, when a relationship ends, it's grieving. And grieving is not just losing somebody from death. It could be a job, it could be losing your job, or it could be losing something that brings disappointment in your life. So what I need to know on behalf of the audience, have you actually ever have a client that is coming to you and they are grieving because of the relationship, not because of death?
Yes, absolutely. When they come to me and they're grieving, and just to help the audience here understand that grief is not only from death, divorce, dire diagnosis, or job loss. Many times we are aware of that I say the big four as the cause of grief, but there are more than 40 different causes of grief. By definitions, grief is the unsettling feelings caused by a change, a loss, any loss, or hope unmet. So yes, I have plenty clients who come to me and it could be because of a hope unmet or a loss on other forms, as well as sometimes even seemingly just changes that seems to be happy changes. So to give you an example, so for instance, people who come to me, they got promotions in the workplace. They got promotions and then they move, and it's happy, isn't it? I mean, you got promotion. I mean, if a work you love, you got promotions and so forth, and being able to do this and that. And at the same time, those cause changes. Promotions cause changes. Think about it. There is actually a component of loss in a relationship, that in promotion, that most people does not even think. That is the loss of back to the relationship, the loss of the relationship, the same type or the same interaction that you have with your peers. So let's say you at work working with 7 different people closely together. Now you got promoted, and those people who were your peers, your buddy, now report to you. Guess what? The relationship there, but the relationship changed, and the dynamic of that relationship changed. And that is actually for your heart. Now, your mind, there's a difference between your mind and your heart. Your mind might say, this is awesome. This is all this great thing, which is very true. But the heart doesn't always understand. A lot of time, the heart doesn't understand the way the mind works. Sometimes I put the analogies, the heart is like the little child in you. And a little child doesn't quite necessarily get promotions and doesn't even particularly care about it. They just want things to be a certain way, and it has been this way, it's been that way. And so your mind might get it, and your heart might not get it. Your heart might say, oh, it's no longer good for me to go and gossip with these people because now I'm their superior. Oh, because the company might have certain policy that doesn't allow me to do this and that anymore. Or now, oh, well, I know this person still did this and that before, and it was just the bystander. Now you're the persons who has the job to address it. So it changed significantly, right? If you really closely look at this, and when I work with human resources, which I do quite a bit, sometimes they have a challenge even seeing it this way. And so, yes, there is plenty of grief. The loss, not from a person passing, but even with yourself. Let's say people who retire. I work with a fair number of retirees. And actually, and for these reasons, I have an event coming up the end of this week with our own body. This is what we call intangible loss, where intangible, all of these are intangible loss, where the intangible loss is everybody who went through menopause, or most people who went through menopause notice changes in their body. They notice that this happened and that happened. Some of us experience it more pronouncedly than other, and this has happened in men and women, and many people notice that, and that's a lot of youth, a lot of being able to, the loss of youth, loss of being able to do what you do, never mind. And on top of that, now you might experience this whole plethora of discomfort as well. It actually can cause a lot of grief, any of those, including this menopause, which we can talk more. You can join in on Friday for that purpose. But yes, that's a lot of different losses. Sometimes things that most people don't even recognize. You're muted, Numsa.
I like that, Dr. Bickett, when you use a promotion as an example. And you mentioned that when somebody is not promoted, the people report to you, but then once you're promoted, they don't report to you. But then once you're promoted, the people that you thought you were equal, and then they start promoting you, or sometimes they might not accept that promotion. They might not accept your position, you being promoted, or some wanting you to still treat them the same way like you did before. Or sometimes that person that has been promoted, they might feel that they've lost something within, or something that in their heart within something is not fulfilled anymore, or they might feel that they still have to win these people's heart that are reporting to them, because as a human being can be really funny sometimes. Instead of going with the flow, accepting somebody that they are promoted, we may try to play games. Even in relationships, it does happen, and sometimes some people may struggle with the letting go, because the letting go when a relationship ends is very painful. But sometimes the relationship might be ended for the right reasons, that person, but because we don't know what's behind the curtains, we don't know the plans that God has for us, whatever you call it. But then it will start worrying and start going through all this worrying and anxiety and all those things, you name it. But if you come to an understanding that, you know what, I'm going to accept the things as they happen, the process of life, because the process of life, we don't have control over it. There is no guarantees that the relationship is going to last for many years, but some do. Some have celebrated their 50th anniversary, their 60th anniversary, but our generation is the one where we want the ready-made, when you wrap the present for somebody for birthdays, we want the ready-made relationship. We don't want to do the work. It's too much hassle to do the work and to do all these things, going out and pleasing somebody. When you talk to this younger generation, they tell you, Nomsa, it's too much effort. I've children that I talk to, they're like 18 or 19. I'll be asking them, like, do you have a boyfriend? And they're like, no. It's too much hassle, too much effort. Just to get dressed and please somebody is too much effort. So I rather focus on my studies. So that's what this generation feel. And also, when somebody, the relationship ends, mending your broken heart is, we're talking about two parties. Like, let's say your spouse's family, their friends. When you meet your spouse, you get to know their friends. You get to connect with their families. You get to connect with the people at work. Maybe they introduce you to their people at work, to their network. And that network, you become part of the family. But when the relationship ends now, you become the enemy. So you have to deal with now people start taking sides, and which makes it hard to respond. But for me, through the journey that I have gone through myself, I would suggest to any audience that is listening, when you go through divorce, when you go through a breakup, it's important to focus on you, because how you respond at that moment is how your life is going to go to the next level. When you focus on you, it means even though that I'm hurting, even though my memories have been stripped away, you can feel that your memories have been stripped away. You can feel that your future, because you build the future planning to have children, or some people have children planning to maybe to move to another city. When the relationship ends, all those dreams can be shattered. So all I can say is focus on the healing process. When you focus on the healing process, like that book, Dr. Bigot, Seeking Peace, it means you are seeking peace. Don't seek people to blame your spouse or to blame you, to say he was wrong or trying to prove a point. Just seek peace. And seeking peace, it means even if I'm hurting, I'm going to let go. I am going to actually put me first. I'm going to communicate. I'm going to let go of the attachment style. I'm going to let go of any wounds that have been created through these things, or any pattern. I'm going to look at the patterns that have created this relationship to end, and I'm going to break those patterns. It's not easy. But if you focus on you, because what we intend to do, we intend to cry and wanting people to comfort us. But if you have the right person that comforts you, you'll be going to the right direction. But if you have the wrong people that will say, you don't deserve this, a feeling sorry club, you don't deserve this, you should not have done that, that becomes really hard for you, because it will trigger the pain more. The more people blame, the more you want to kill somebody. You like get angry. So the best way for me is healing. If you focus on healing, I know I can tell you the fancy words, I can put these words and make them as fancy as possible. But for me, the only thing that I know that it helps a human being is healing, seeking peace, seeking freedom, and let those who wants to enter your world enter your world. They will sympathize with you, they will connect with the problem, and they'll help you to break away the chains of a broken heart, because that heart is broken. When a heart is broken, all it needs, it does not need, oh, she shouldn't have done this, or he shouldn't have done this. All it needs is healing. So if you are a Christian, you can use your prayer. If you are not a Christian, you can meditate however you meditate, and just break away. No matter how, if you don't feel okay, go to the doctors, ring the doctors, seek support, counseling, professional help. When you seek professional help, men mostly, they feel that when they seek professional help, they are defeated. No, that's not true. A human being, whether you are a man or a woman, you still need to talk to somebody. So men that are watching, or they believe that it's a weakness, it's not a weakness. We all need help. So you can seek help and seek peace in order for you to break away from that relationship and heal the wounds. So that you don't take the wounds and transfer them to another relationship. What do you think, Dr. Bigot? Now we come to forgiveness. How do you forgive when the relationship is gone? How do you forgive this person that you are dating and forgive them and move on?
So I love that question, and I love several things that you said, actually. The first one being seeking peace. And that is very true. When something happened, when a relationship has been lost, then you want to seek peace, and you mentioned freedom as well. And there is a saying, and over the years, 25 years of helping successfully help clients with grief, I do notice this as well as with myself in my own journey, knowing grief since I was 5 years old, that there is, if your heart is not free, you are not free. There is no true freedom. You could be living in the most free country and have everything under the sun materially. But if your heart's not free, if your heart wakes you up at night or stop you on your track because of something, you are not free. So when you free your heart, you can become fully free. So much so that some people, we know so many leaders who are there physically in the prison, and at the same time, their heart and their mind is free to create. Nelson Mandela being one. The mind, he was still physically in the prison, but his heart and his mind has moved forward. So that is something that you want to free your heart. How do you do that? Well, one is by seeking peace. And seeking peace means two things. There is implication in there. Seek peace means you're not seeking out and trying to find somebody to point your finger at, which is Numsa says. Not so seeking peace does not mean say, hey, you, trying to create problem, but you're also not pointing your finger in, because that's the other part of that. Sometimes you like, okay, it's not their fault. It's all me. It's me, the bad person. It's me, it's not. It means making peace with everything that has happened outwardly and inwardly. And yes, the book did talk about that. The book is actually shares about that. It's available on Amazon in every country. And in almost all cases, it includes forgiveness. There are times when there are certain people who forgiveness is actually not necessary or not necessary yet. So sometimes in this modern day and age, and this is also in the society of a lot of personal development, we say, oh, everybody got to forgive. And the truth is there are certain times where for certain people, the forgiveness is not necessary or not necessarily yet. And I said earlier today how the heart works differently than your mind. And so the time when the forgiveness is not necessary, the way when people work with me, when you work with me to release your grief, to recover from your heartbreak, it's actually a multi-steps approach. It's a 6 steps approach. And a 6 steps and what I call 6-step, 4-prong, 3-dimensional approach. So you release your grief emotionally, but also intellectually and somatically. And when you do it that way, then in some people, they are able to say, okay, I have not forgive this person or this event. It could also be an event. But at the same time, the only thing that it does to them is to empower them, to fire them, to allow them to become more motivated. And if that's the case, and it truly does not interfere you in any other way, well, we have actually we put in one full sessions for forgiveness alone, and you will see all the things that you are able and you have the opportunity to forgive. And there are times we don't ask you to forgive everything. There are times you say, you know what, this is okay. We don't need to worry about that right now. And you work closely with me and everything tailored with you. So this is okay. And this is actually helped me move forward. This actually empower me to do even better. Then you don't necessarily need to forgive. If it doesn't bother you, or if it's actually benefits you, then you don't need to forgive. At least not at this moment. Maybe at some point in the future you discover you want to do it, but not at this moment. So, and then in terms of forgiveness, there's multiple different ways to do that. But many people misunderstand, Numsa, what forgiveness really is. And many people say, well, okay, if I forgive, that means I'm allowing this person. That means I'm agreeing. I don't agree. I don't agree. I would never want to be abused. I would never want somebody to betray me. So forgiveness has absolutely nothing to do with agreeing or approving. Forgiveness simply is letting go of your guilt or grudge about yourself or others on something that has already happened in the past. Forgiveness is letting go of your wish that things happen differently. That's literally is all it is. It doesn't have anything to do with agreeing. We will never agree somebody say neglectfully cause the loss of someone else's life. We will never agree somebody beat you up for no reason, or whether physically or emotionally. That has nothing to do with agreeing. It's simply letting go of your wish that thing happened differently. And yes, as you say, it is something that for many is a process, because if it is easy, if it is that easy, then everybody will be forgiving the moment everything happened, right? But that is why you want to allow professional help. To, if it is your heart being broken, then allow heartbreak specialists or a grief specialist to help you with that.
Dr. Bickett, because the forgiveness is every person defines it differently. Some people, they feel that they don't need to forgive, but forgiveness is actually, it's a decision and it's a choice that you have to make, or is letting go of resentment, basically, like what you were saying, Dr. Bickett, and anger. And that anger, if you don't let it go, it can become cancer. That can become a stronghold. That can become, it can cause resentment. It can destroy your future relationship. It can destroy, if you don't forgive one relationship, it will cost you everything. Because when you go to work, you will see everyone the same, because you're still worrying that everything, like what happened in the past. When you ask people, they'll tell you, I don't want to get into relationship. Women are the same, men are the same, but we are not. We are all different. If you work on forgiveness, you realize that every individual has their own destiny. They have their own mistakes that they make. So then you make your own decision. And by making a choice of letting go of something that does no longer serve you that moment, and allowing the blessings that are meant to come to you, so that you can live freely in your life. For me, that's how I see forgiveness. Forgiveness to me is a choice. And sometimes, however, some people can say, why do I need to forgive the other person if they don't forgive? You don't need to forgive the other person so that they can say they forgive you too. It's your own choice, your own. It's like myself, if somebody upsets me, I have a choice for me to work on my healing, and without them saying sorry. Some people, you'll be surprised at how many people want to hear that word sorry. Mm-hmm. They have to apologize. If they don't apologize, I am forgiving. But guess what? They can give you an apology. What if they don't mean it? So people can say I'm sorry. You would be surprised. That's why there's a saying that listen to what people are saying. But when somebody's saying something, or somebody says I love you, but it's the actions, do they align with what they're saying? So somebody can just say sorry to shut you up, to make you happy. But the only thing, the forgiveness that comes from within, no one can take that away. So it's important to actually forgive yourself so that you can learn to love yourself again. Because when you end in a relationship, the relationship ends, that heartbreak, it causes trauma. It can be easy to lose the sight of our worthy and our value. How much are we worthy? Do we value ourselves? But if you say, okay, I'm going to forgive, that is a reconnection. So you are reconnecting you to yourself and rediscovering your uniqueness as a person and the quality of your strength. That's why we forgive. We don't forgive because we love to. We forgive because we want to reconnect with our true authenticity, and we want to know our uniqueness. We want to connect with that quality. What makes Dr. Bigot be Dr. Bigot? But if you don't forgive, you lose all those things that are connected to your self-care as part of forgiveness, and as part of relaxing, as part of peace. When you forgive, it's part of peace. And when you forgive, it brings joy to your life. It brings fulfillment. And it takes away all the challenges. The forgiveness, it challenges negative beliefs. It breaks them out. It just cuts them off, the things that are holding us back. And it helps us with our growth and development. So that's how I see forgiveness, Dr. Bigot. I don't know, somebody might say it differently, but I just see, forgiveness is also because when a relationship ends, you get angry with yourself. Why didn't I see this coming? Why did I even choose this person? But at the beginning, when you chose this person, things were beautiful. No one, like we say, no one knows the future. So all we can say is we just have to forgive ourselves. And some people get angry with God. Why, God, if you exist out there, why would you let me? But God, maybe it's not his doing. God has an opposition as well. So that opposition will want people that are the good people to suffer. So it's then up to us how we respond to that situation. And there's so many, like gratitude we can use, so many things that we can use. What do you suggest, Dr. Bigot, when somebody is going through the forgiveness? What do you suggest they can use?
Well, I usually recommend to keep in mind a few things. And being a grief specialist, practically every client, there is a conversations about forgiveness. And couple things. This is one thing that that's many people says, I don't feel that I can forgive. So notice, forgiving is not a feeling. It is an action. Get that? The forgiveness, many people say, I don't feel it. I don't feel it in my heart. I don't feel it. I hear you. I understand you, and my heart goes to you for the experience, whatever the experience, the unpleasant experience that causes the anger or guilt. Sometimes self-forgiveness involves guilt more than anger. So I don't feel forgiving. Forgiveness is not a feeling. It is an action. So you choose, as Numsa said just now, you choose to take that actions. If you look in the English language, now I don't know what it is in every other languages, but in English language and even in the my mother's language, Indonesian, forgiveness, the word is such a way that if in the English language, forgiveness, you forgive. What is the word? If you look in the dictionary, to forgive. Right? You say it's to forgive. To forgive is a verb. Forgiving is a gerund. A gerunds come from a verb. A verb in the English language imply action. So it's an actions you choose to take. Now, sometimes it's a lot easier than to actually do. And that is why actually with me, we use the 5 steps and the four prongs and 3-dimensional approach to help you to be able to do this. But in general, without putting down 6 weeks of course, which will take us about 6 weeks to discuss in here, then you one thing is to realize what it is really is. If you are going to there is a saying, even with different things, they say you can smile and be happy, or be happy and smile. Well, in this case, you can choose that I'm going to choose to take the action. Or if you cannot get there yet, one thing that I say to many of my clients is to be willing to forgive. That was not a mistake. That's, you can choose to be willing to forgive. You just start there. You choose to be willing to forgive. And then if you say, yeah, well, okay, I'm willing to forgive, or I'm just simply willing to get better, and then I still not there after, or I don't know how to get there, well, that's when you want to allow the correct support. And there is a saying, even the best orthopedic surgeon cannot repair a broken leg surgery on his or himself or herself. I don't know. Somebody say they break their leg, and orthopedic surgeons, he cannot sit there and sew his own leg and put it back together. And I work with many counselor, psychotherapists, coaches, and sometimes in the most interesting way, and doctors as well, in the most interesting way, they're like, yeah, I got to be able to do this. I'm a psychotherapist, I'm a counselor, or I'm a life coach, or I'm a what have you. Let me tell you, for the certified grief coach, first the certified grief specialist, we have a community, and in the most interesting way, we are very readily, for the grief specialist, when we have something happen in our life, we jump in back to our community and say, hey, this happened. Somebody betrayed me. I lost some, I have something happen. I have a hope unmet. I have a loss of a loved one. Come help me. Because even an orthopedic surgeons need someone else to repair his broken leg. And so if you haven't been doing this, and even if you do, seek out for help, just like a smart surgeon would seek out for help, as a grief specialist would seek out and allow the correct persons. And there is a difference between repairing broken heart and counseling. And the difference with that is a lot of things with the counseling has everything to do with your mind. A lot of insight, a lot of life coaching and mindset coaching, again, has everything to do, a lot of things, everything to do with your mind. While if it is a broken heart or grief, just even the word a broken heart, it's not a broken mind. Your mind is not broken. Sometimes some people say, I feel like I'm going crazy and my mind broken, but when your heart's broken, it's influenced, like you say, Numsa, it's influenced everything else is in your life and in your body. I said when you have a broken heart, a trauma, a loss, a grief, it's as if you put on a dark sunglasses and you didn't realize, you forgot you're doing that, and it's influenced everything else, including the way you think. It caused your mind to be foggy, but it's a broken heart. It's not a broken mind. And so go to a grief specialist who are specialized in helping you recover from your broken heart, and which is different than trying to work on your mind. Grief and broken heart has everything to do with your heart and very little with the mind. And sometimes, in many cases, I just have this is actually in this whole week, for some reason, an experience where some of them are counselors, or psychotherapists, and some others are life coaches, and some others are general public that keep saying, you know what? These people was talking about being positive. These people people was talking about understanding, and this is come from the psychotherapist, and it just shut me down. It just make me feel unheard. And so allow yourself the correct support.
To allow yourself to actually to find the right support, and also building a system, a support system, like what Dr. Biget is saying. It can help with your healing process, and having people that are actually, they want you to succeed. They want you to be better with whatever you want to do in life. People that you can rely for emotional support and encouragements when your life is faced with the differences, and so that you can cope with the different abilities. We can cope with stress and emotional pain. But if you are surrounded by the wrong people as well, or you take the wrong person, you can have a friend, talk to a friend that is good, is a good listener, because sometimes when we are going through pain, all we want is somebody. We don't want advice. Sometimes people say problems because they just want people to listen without judging them. But unfortunately, we live in a very judgmental world. So you have to be careful who you tell your stuff when it comes to problems. And also just reach out. If you don't have friends or family that you can rely on, reach out to your local GP, explain the problems. And I've realized that within the society, actually, people don't like to talk about their problems, because when you tell people, people create more problems. I've seen, like with my family, when I'm going through something, if I say something, it's like, why are you saying it? Sometimes I say it, but I don't normally talk about problems when I'm going through it. I talk about it when it's gone. And sometimes you find them, it's like there's this a wall that they're building, that you shouldn't talk about your problems. And but when you don't talk about it, whenever you have problems, they hear it from somebody else. They're like, oh, how come you've never told me about this? Never told you, because no listen. They don't listen. They want to judge. They have too many words that they want to say. So sometimes I realize that people don't talk because they're scared of being judged. Even in other places, there are some churches where people are being judged in churches as well nowadays. Not everybody that says Lord, Lord is a child of God. So we just have to understand that we are all normally, we are all the same. And when you find yourself being judged, just forgive and move on. That's the advice that I can give you. Just forgive those who are judging you and move on, and don't stop seeking help, because when you actually go through the breakup, when you seek healing, you're seeking healing to get better and to mend that broken heart. And it will be easy to gratitude, like what Dr. Biget said before. Get a journal, write all your feelings, what you're going through, and look at what we learned. Don't see bad in that relationship, but there must be something amazing in that relationship, unless if somebody is in an abusive relationship. In an abusive relationship, when you enter that abusive relationship, that means the abuse starts from the beginning to the end. So in that way, it's going to be really, really tough to actually evaluate, learn, and find something that you have learned from that relationship. So what you will need professional help. If you're coming out from an abusive relationship, I'll suggest that you seek really, really proper help. But if you're not coming from an abusive relationship, look back. What have you learned from the relationship? Or if it's the relationship with the children, has the relationship always been toxic, or there was some good in it, or some beautiful things, the places you visited? Just hold on to those good memories. And sometimes the beautiful memories are the ones that hurt the most. So it can be a whole lot of confusion when it comes to breakup. So you just have to just write down get a journal, write down your feelings, be aware and be in the present moment. Don't join in the feeling sorry club where people feel sorry for you, and find that champion in the family. For me, I know in my family and friends that there are really people that I trust that are never gonna judge me. Although when I'm going through problems, like I said before, I don't talk about my problems. I talk to God. And I find it is really, really easy to actually get healing from very quickly, because that means I'm going to pray about it and I'm going to fast. And after fasting, and I use the song. If there is a song that is very, very powerful, those words, I use those words to give me strength for me to move on with my life. And I find it when I do all those things, I read the scriptures based on what I'm going through. And I talk to people that I know they're not going to judge me, and people who, those champion, I call them champion. It's like in gossip talk shows. I know there are people that whenever they see a problem, they're not gonna yip, they're just gonna help me to find a solution. And with my family as well, I know there are people in my family that they're not gonna talk when I'm going through something. They're going to support me or just listen. Friends, I know they are friends. I don't have many friends, actually. I'm going to be honest, because I find myself that the friends that I was collecting, they're not really friends. We call people friends, but when we are in when you are in this situation where you have problems, is where you actually get to see who your true friends are that support you. So those are the things that I look at when I see that, collecting these people that I call them friends and taking pictures with them, posting them on social media, and for me. So I rather have 2 or 3 friends that I can actually ring them and be me, not having to pretend to be somebody else. So those are the things that I prefer. So if anyone is going through something, they're struggling forgiveness, you have to ask yourself, you have to actually put you first, because if you go through healing yourself and focus on you, you are able to actually help the other people, and without blame as well. Some people, they blame people were never there for them. My relationship is this because of this person who was never there for me. They become follower, they become so many things. They build walls of protection, which those walls, they end up depriving their joy and everything. You don't have to build a wall to protect yourself. If you're gonna get hurt, you're gonna get hurt anyway. You might as well have joy and have fun. And that's part of it. Honestly, I don't know you, Dr. Biggett, but for me, I see life, it comes with pain. Joy comes, there comes pain first, and then joy comes. Or sometimes the joy will come and pain will try to knock, but do you allow it? You don't have to allow it. You just have to. I'm not saying you have joy always, but when you go through something, give yourselves that moment to be in the present moment and break every chain. The chain of somebody saying, some people get damned, you are not enough for me. I'm not enough for you. Who is enough for you? So when a man or a woman tells you that you're not enough for them, it means that they are still searching for something from their childhood that was never fulfilled, and they want to fulfill it by actually thinking that they have this person in mind that is going to fulfill their destiny. So I wouldn't worry about that. For me, if a man tells me that I'm not enough, I know if I'm not enough for you, I am enough for me, and I'm enough for God. So that's my beliefs, and that's what I believe, that we are all unique. And if somebody dumps you and tells you you're not enough. Some people, they cheat on their spouse as well because they are not fulfilled. They will say, or a woman will ask, or a man will ask, why are you cheating on me? Because of you. No, not because of me, not because of anybody. They cheat because they want, or they cheat or because they think they're never gonna get caught, and then they get caught. Then it becomes a problem, break up, or it becomes, if you're gonna forgive, might as well forgive fully 100%. So Dr. Bigot, if there is anyone who is watching right now and they want to really let go completely and they want to break away, they're forgiven and they want to let go, what advice can you give that person to actually let go completely and live a life that is fulfilled?
Yeah, anytime somebody experience something traumatic, and that's include a loss, any cause of grief, or even if it is not something traumatic, but if you want to release things from your heart, that's to recover from your grief, then a few things that I recommend. The first thing is to acknowledge that it's happening, because sometimes it's easier to kind of look at it with eyes half closed and ears half closed, but to actually really sit there and acknowledge and see what happened, as painful as it might be, and then to allow you and your feelings. Because until you are able to sit there and say, okay, this is how I feel, this is how it is, then you kind of still either trying to push it away or running from it. And if you ever try to do a math problem, a calculus or something while cooking and doing something else and so on and so forth, chances is you're not going to get it done well, or take a heck a lot longer than you typically would need to. So acknowledge and allow yourself to look at it, and allow your feelings as well. Allow your feelings. It's not that if you feel angry, says that I'm angry. If you feel guilty, you are guilty. You feel guilty, you says that you feel guilty, not that says, oh, well, okay, I'm going to be good here, and I'm feeling angry, but I'm going to be positive. If I'm feeling guilty, but I'm going to be what have you. Actually allow your feeling, acknowledge, allow your feeling, and then to be willing to be able to be better. And if you don't know exactly how, if you don't already have the roadmap and then the GPS, how to do that, then ask for help. And just like if you break your legs, hopefully you don't go to your neighbor, to your siblings, unless they happen to be orthopedic surgeons. You probably don't even go to your primary care. If you have the options, you go straight to the orthopedic surgeon. Then ask for help with the correct persons. Ask for help from somebody, whether it is a grief specialist, a counselor who are specifically trained in grief. Somebody specifically trained and have experience is the other part of that. Have experience in what you have been through as well. Somebody who have, if it is a divorce, it will be helpful with somebody who has experienced divorce. If it is a loss of a loved ones, somebody who has experienced loss of loved ones. And so if it is something else, go get help from someone who are specifically trained, and allow, and back to the allowing, allow yourself to do and receive what it is that you need. You're muted.
Muted, Emma. Thank you so much, Dr. Bigot. For me as well, I'll say, when you're going through something, there are actually few things that you need to think about. You need to think about understanding the impact of that relationship that is ended. How is it going to affect you? Once you write all these questions and also identifying and addressing the patterns of the reason why that relationship ended, because sometimes the relationship ends, the signs are there, and also understanding the power of letting go and the power of forgiveness, and understanding the power of finding closure and moving on, and also understand the power of self-care during the healing process is very important, and also build the support around you, and navigate dating after toxic relationship. You don't have to forgive because go through forgiveness because you want to date. You go through forgiveness because you want to overcome those problems and you want to be free as well. And you could also build, understanding the power of building self-confidence is very, very important when you build confidence, because when relationship ends, it can affect your confidence as well. And also communicate effectively in get yourself ready for future relationships. It's not just intimacy, all the relationship around you, and also understand the power of finding joy and happiness again. Embrace new beginning, the power of embracing new beginning. And those are the things that you can work on and write questions when you're using your journal, and just free yourself from all these pain and broken heart, and mend your broken heart. Dr. Biggett, if anyone is watching right now, can you tell them who you are and where they can find you, please?
Absolutely, thank you. And yes, I love what you. I just really quick. I love what you said, Nimsa. And it is not just one thing. If you say you've been betrayed, or you were abused or something, or this or something like that, you want to work. And a lot of time it's just like, again, with the concept of a broken leg. Using as an analogy of a broken leg, it's like, yes, you need the surgeons, and then yes, you need the physical therapists, and then yes, you need somebody else to help you. So it's a full spectrum thing, and start right where you are, where the pain is the most, and then even like you talk about confidence, even people with an image makeover. I have a few friends who says, yeah, you want to feel this way now, this is the image makeover. So seek the help where you need the help, and you don't know how to do it well already. And in terms of who I am, I'm a certified grief specialist. And how people can connect with me, you can connect with me on Facebook, on LinkedIn. You can also email me directly, drtanforgrief@gmail.com. You might see it at the bottom of my screen here. Or you could also go to my website, joyfulrichesbeyondgrief.com. Joyful riches, that's riches as in full spectrum rich life. When you heal your heart, Dr. Joe Dispenza said, when you heal your heart, you heal your mind. And when you are able to heal your mind, you can heal everything else, improve everything else in your life, and create a full spectrum rich life. So joyfulrichesbeyondgrief.com.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Biggett. And for me, if you are looking to connect with me, I am your love harmonist and a matchmaker. So you can go to my website, www.hseia.com. That's where you'll find me. If you want to connect with Dr. Biggett and other coaches, and if you are struggling to find them, you can email me there. There's an office number there and my mobile number. You can call me and I'll connect with these guys ASAP. And Ngozi Talk Shows, we help you find your own voice, lead from within. And if you're single, you can head over to HSEIA and get in touch. The process is very, very simple. We are different from the online dating. Matchmakers, we actually, everything is personalized based on what you want. So if you're looking for that personal touch and privacy as well, for your photos not to be on the website. It's a completely offline service. So if you are a professional and you don't want to be found on this website, that is the best way to get in touch with Hope Springs Eternal Introduction Agency, and we begin the search for you. And we are here at Nkosi Talk Shows Monday to Friday, 1 p.m. UK time. So please connect with us, or just come and have a chat with us, and live with grace, everyone, and God bless.